Welcome to Chefsville Family Kitchen Sessions. I'm Chef Scott, and I'm here to bring you a little taste of history, flavor, and fun. Right from our kitchen to yours. We're going to learn how to cook some awesome things today while we take care of the most important ingredient in the kitchen, and that's you. I've spent years teaching kids and families how to cook, and now we're going to turn up the heat on tradition. Today we're going to give you a meal, tasty meal of the Roaring '20s style. We're going to whip up a Caesar salad with crusty cheese croutons, a hearty meatball dish smothered in a classic Chef Boyardee sauce. We're going to serve it with a side of fondant potatoes, and we're going to finish with something sweet. How about caramelized oranges on top of a New York cheesecake? Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get started. Hello, and today we're going to be starting with our Caesar salad. Did you know Caesar salad was Mexican food? That's right. It was made in Mexico around the 1920s. So let's get into this wonderful dish. Number one, we're going to make it with some incredible crusty cheese croutons. Have you ever made them from scratch? Let me show you how, and let's do it together. I've got here a little mixing bowl. I'm going to start out with a little bit of vinegar. That's what I've got here. Not a lot. I've got salt and pepper. I'm just going to put in maybe 2 pinches. And then maybe half of that, 1 pinch of pepper, because I don't want to blow you to the moon. Maybe an extra touch. And then we've got paprika. I'm just going to wiggle in a teeny bit. And then I'm going to wiggle in some onion powder right here. Actually, let me show you the real thing. We have an entire head of garlic. So let me show you that. I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to put this up here. This is a head of garlic, and it's a lot of fun. You can take one of these and smash it. That's fun. Then all the kids go chasing it. Or you can smash it with your hands, which is what I'm going to do here, because we don't have time to play 5,000 pickup. And you can hear it crackling and crunching, making all that fun noise. Ooh, this is a nice head of garlic. So I'm just going to grab 1 clove. We're going to use that for this. I have bread, which I've already cut up, as you can see. And you know the difference between men and women? Men cut everything. Women know how to tear. And they look at you and they know exactly what they're tearing and thinking about at the same time. And I'm going to do some half and half. Croutons are wonderful. We're going to have some cheese with it, and we're going to enjoy that. Now notice here, I just used a regular chef's knife, and look what it did to the bread. It kind of mangled it. Now the reason I'm showing you that is because there's another knife called a serrated knife. See how it looks like a saw? And this is going to respond totally different. As I go and cut the bread, it's going to saw it. Now, which one of these 2 piles look better to you? To me, I don't want smashed, mangled bread. I want a nice cheesy crouton. So I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting with the serrated knife. And I hope that's the one that you chose. Let me know if it's not. That's okay. And I'm just going to cut this into little pieces. Put that aside. I'm going to cut this. It can be any kind of bread you want. In this case, we're just using a sesame loaf, Italian style. It could be French. It could be anything you want. Come back to my bowl. I'm going to whisk it up. it's not quite ready yet. You know what I need? That garlic. So let me come back to the garlic now that we have our breadcrumbs done. This is also, I would definitely use a chef's knife. And what you want to do is get this skin off. Little tap. Notice that when I tapped, I'm not holding the blade up like this, I'm holding it flat. Just give it a little tap and a little tear, and this should come right off, which it does beautifully. Now, if I take some salt and some pepper, I know I already have it here, but that bread could use a little extra help. And now watch, I will cut this one way. Garlic is the chameleon in the family, because if you cut it, you get one flavor. If you slice it, you get another flavor. If you dice it, you get a third flavor. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna bring this to us, and we're gonna puree the garlic. Hear that? Can you hear that crunching, crunchy crunch? I'm sure you can. That is like sandpaper. And it is going to do the most amazing trick with garlic. It's going to puree it. We want a nice puree, and I'm going to use half of it for the bread, and the other half I'm going to use for the salad dressing, which we're going to make in 1 minute. Oh boy, this smells good already. There's other things you can do with garlic, and I will demonstrate those to you in future episodes. Look at that. Okay, done. You can tell it's done. See how the color changed? And it's starting to ooze out some of its delicious liquids. That's what we want. So I'm gonna put about half of it aside, and we'll use that for our sauce. And then I've got the other half that goes in to our bowl. There we go. Gonna mix that up. Then I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, about a tablespoon. A tablespoon is about 2 thumbfuls, just the tip of your thumb. I want to show you this because this is so good, so delicious. And all I'm really doing is just making a little bit of a paste. And then, let's see, accidents happen in the kitchen, and it's okay as long as nobody gets hurt. Excuse me a minute while I pick that up real quick. I'll give that a wash in just a minute, and then we go in with our cheese. That's in there. There goes our bread. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the bread on this lined baking sheet, and I'm going to toss it with my fingers. The best equipment that God gave us is our hands for mixing. And I'm just going to toss it. Whoa, escapee, get back in there. All right. This is so good. If you've ever made these before, you'll be happy. And why buy something when you can make it yourself? And back in the 20s, they didn't have much to buy, believe me. And then we're just going to put that out. And the cheese stays behind. So we got to go in with our hands. I'm going to layer this so it's flat. Ooh, cheese. If you don't think we have enough cheese, no problem. We go and get more cheese. And that will go in our 325-degree oven. And we're going to let that toast for about 7 to 10 minutes. And I'll be right back with these when they're done. Hello, I'm back, and look what we have. We have our crusty, cheesy croutons. Always have something where you can be safe in the kitchen. I'm using 2 of these wonderful wipes. These are beautiful. They're bruleed, and the cheese is melted just right. Well, let's make our salad. Are you hungry yet? I've got this nice big bowl. I have my pureed garlic, and I want to talk to you about the fact that one of the ways we can make this Mexican style, or the style of the 20s, is we could use a lemon, which we're used to, but instead let's go for the lime. And the lime I'm going to zest. Got a little zester here, and I just want to kind of, in this case, just get this zest off. This has been washed, and one of the most amazing things that they don't teach many people, and a lot of cooks don't even know this, is that the zest has up to 100 times the vitamins and minerals than the juice has. So I want to get this into all my dishes as much as I can. Salads, marinades, pasta dishes, rice dishes, in some cases even potatoes. And I'm probably going to make, almost about that much. I'm going to use about half, because I'm not cooking for a big party, just a couple of us. A little bit of a bang. I've got my bowl here, and I'm going to put that in. Did it come off my finger? No. In goes the garlic. In goes the lime zest in this case. That goes in. I'm also going to be adding an egg yolk. Let's put that in. Oh, I broke it. That happens. Then we have salt and pepper, because this is for a different component. I'm just going to put in about half the amount of pepper than salt. And then, you know what we need? This sounds crazy. Mustard. Now, if you don't like mustard, don't worry. This isn't going to taste like mustard. The mustard and the egg yolk have a function here, and that is that they allow the vinegar, which I'm going to put in, and they allow the vinegar and olive oil to mix, and that's what we want. The last ingredient, I'm going to go right down this cut piece of lime, give it a nice squeeze. That's going to give the salad a wonderful freshness, and especially limes like you get in Mexican food. Oh boy. All right. Now we're ready to whisk. Got myself a whisk, a big whisk too. Just going to mix it up. Now, if your bowl starts dancing, or break dancing if you want, go ahead and put your towel down. Just wrap it around as much as you can. And look what happens. It stays still. I'm going to need it to stay still, because now I'm going to use another kitchen skill, which is being able to pour slowly. Drop, dribble, dribble, dribble. That's going to get the salad dressing all nice. The fat globules are going to break up and bubble everywhere. And then I can start adding more. I can go a little faster now. And a little faster, a little faster. And what I generally want, I don't want something so strong, do you? I don't know many kids and families that like super vinegary items. We're not making pickles, but what we are making is a mayonnaise. And generally it's 4 times the amount of oil. In this case, I have a nice fruity olive oil. And this is the real mayonnaise that your great-greats grew up with in the 1920s. Look at this. Oh, I'm going to show you. I'm just dancing away here. See how it's getting light? And I want 3 to 4 times more the amount of oil than vinegar. And you see that mustard kind of disappears and gives us a nice color. Look at that. Almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get everything out of my cup. There we go. Now, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, let's do this. Hands under. We're gonna sink that. Then I've got our lettuce. Lettuce leaves are absolutely beautiful. Now, the outer leaves are tough. And remember I showed you with the croutons that ladies know how to tear things? Well, we're gonna do the same kind of thing with this. Just gonna roll it up and kind of tear the outer leaves. And I'm using my hand as a measuring tool. I know that about each one of these is going to be about the same size, lengthwise, okay? Here, these are a little bit tough, the ribs. We're not gonna use those. I'm gonna set those aside. Then I've got these pieces. I'm going to just cut about 1.5 inches to 2 inches up. Fingers, be careful of those fingers. That goes away. And then I'm gonna take the middle leaves and I'm gonna pull those out. And again, we are going to tear these washed pieces. You're gonna see why in just a minute. This is gonna make a beautiful presentation. And then these inner leaves are amazing. They're like little canoes, huh? And we can use endive as well. We could add red or green endive. That's kind of fun. If you've never had that, it's another kind of lettuce, like a chicory. But this is gonna add really a lot of fun to our presentation. So here we go. We're going in with you. Look how the center. Please come here and see this with me. Take a look, really look at the wonderful food you have. Sunlight has never touched this, and it's sweet like candy, and it just falls apart and it's beautiful. And then we have our canoes. All right, having said that, let's finish this dish up. I have a set of tongs. Right now I have a naked salad. You wouldn't send your children out of the bathtub or shower without being dressed. That's why we call it dressing. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna take my tongs and sort of toss everything around. I don't know about you, but I'm foaming here. This is so good. I gotta keep my mouth away from this. I might just fall in. And all I'm doing is just tossing. Now you know why it's called a tossed salad. But I want to coat everything. And then in the 1920s, they also put in cheese. That's right, more cheese. How's that? More? Okay, you said more. Get in there. Double dose it. Toss so it gets everywhere. Oh my. Uh-oh, that piece of lettuce hogged all that cheese. And then to serve it, ooh, canoe, canoe, canoe. And then a couple pieces of these beautiful torn shreds. I'll put them like that. Beautiful crown in the middle. Oh, this is so exciting. And then here come our croutons. You didn't think I forgot about those, did you? How could I? That's horrible. Well, let's get in about 6, 8. More? Okay, 10. More? 12. Ooh. I think that is a salad for a wonderful, wonderful family like you. Okay, well here you can see we did a 1920s style Caesar salad. And yes, it's from Mexico, so we can celebrate the greatness of Mexican cuisine. Thank you for being with me, and we're gonna go on to the next recipe now. Welcome back. I'm glad you're with us here in Chefsville. Today we're also going to do meatballs. In the 1920s, finger food became a really big, wonderful thing. So let's enjoy. I've got some meat. I've got some, believe it or not, grated onion, salt, pepper, garlic, and some panko or some breadcrumbs. And I got a bowl here, and I'm ready to get started with our mixture. First up, we're going to put in our beautiful meat. We're going to drop in some of the, actually that's a quarter of a large onion, juice and all. I don't know about you, but when I do an onion like this and grate it, I start crying, you know. It just happens. A little salt, pepper. Because my meat doesn't come seasoned, does yours? I'm going to do 2 big things of salt, which is really about, 3/4 of a teaspoon to half of that. Then we have some garlic. Garlic is wonderful. I've diced some up here, got it all ready. Get in there, garlic, don't hide. We need you in the show. And then, I'll fill 1 handful of breadcrumbs, and we have ourselves a mixture. Now, I don't want to go in and crush it. You don't want to go in and crush it. You just kind of want to do the claw. Just kind of mix it all, flip it over, because you want that beef not to get compressed. You want it to get all the seasoning, the onion juice, the garlic. And you can see I'm just kind of doing a claw thing now. Yeah. And then this gets really amazing at this point. Now notice that I'm going in with one hand. I'm pretty happy with this. Now what I'm going to do is put on some gloves, because what I'm going to show you is a cool way of making meatballs that maybe you've never seen before. But the gloves, you don't have to wear them if you're at home with your family, but some people will look at me and say, "Oh, you're not wearing gloves." I'm doing it backwards. Okay, get in there, fingers. I am Dr. Food. Oh! Now the reason I do that, and this is really amazing when you're making meatballs, I'm going to dip it in a little bit of water just to have a surface. This is the way the Asians do it. I don't know about you, but they can really cook wonderful food. And when you look at their techniques and master them, they're a lot of fun. I'm going to take a little bit of this mixture, put it in my hand. Now watch very carefully. I learned this from a dim sum master. I'm just going to squeeze from the bottom up and pinch. Squeeze from the bottom up and pinch. And I might, let me get some more here, okay? Gonna squeeze from the bottom up and pinch. Squeeze from the bottom up and pinch. Now I'm gonna stop there. I've done 4 meatballs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what's amazing is, without measuring them with a measuring spoon or a cookie dough spatula kind of thing, look what I've got. They're all about the same size. And what I'm going to do is put my other hand in now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Roll them just 6 times. We don't want to do this all day. And then the trick is, see how they're all about the same size. I don't have one that looks like Saturn and the other that looks like our moon. They're all about the same size and they'll cook at the same time. Go ahead and try and let's see how you do. By the way, I made some potatoes while we were off for a few minutes getting all set up. And these potatoes are going to go with our delicious meatballs. I'm going to go ahead and make a few more, and I'll be right back with you when we're all done. Welcome back to Chefsville. I'm so glad you're with us as we're starting out our roaring 20s with this pilot episode. Hey, while you've been away, we've been cooking up some meatballs. We got those going. I have them colored all the way around, and I'm just going to leave them. Over here, I've got a second pot warming up. We are going to make the Chef Boyardee sauce. Now, this is his original recipe. Chef Boyardee, many of your family, your parents, your great-greats, they all know about Chef Boyardee canned foods. So let's make the sauce from scratch. It even tastes better. Number one, I have here a nice hot pan. I got a wooden spoon, and I'm gonna put in some delicious, just tomato sauce. It can be any brand, whatever you've got in your pantry. You wanna get some of this out real quick. Gotta save time on the camera, so I'm going to just, ooh, look, it's cooking already. Then we're going to add, this is a can of tomato soup. Nice, simple, delicious soup. Stir, stir. We are going to put in, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and measure this. We're gonna put in a teaspoon of sugar. Why? Because it's just gonna add a little sweetness. That's gonna be nice. I'm gonna add half of that of some garlic powder, half of that of onion powder, and then we have salt and pepper. Again, that's just the way we are. And all my rules with salt and pepper are basically 2 parts of salt to 1 part of pepper. Mix it up, mixy, 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 drop it in. Be careful when it starts bubbling. It's like lava, isn't it? What do you guys think of that? Just give it a nice stir, but keep it in the pot. I don't know about you, but I'm getting real hungry. I can see that the tomato sauce is thicker than the soup, so I'm just gonna keep doing little circles, either clockwise or counterclockwise, moving everything around so it blends together, and the sugar is gonna melt in here and all those delicious seasonings. Oh, it smells absolutely amazing. And then, for the fun part, this is grated sharp cheddar cheese. This is gonna add that nice richness. Ooh, it's bubbling, okay. I'm gonna step back a little bit. I don't wanna get turned into a lava flow. Ooh. How much do we want? Oh, I'd say about, that ought to do it. It's about half. You want more cheese? Okay, out there in Chefsville, more cheese. Let's get it in. And then at this point, I'm gonna shut this off. A little bit of parsley would be nice. Since it's an Italian style sauce, we can even use an herb, basil. Why not? And look, the cheese is starting to melt. This is getting all wonderful. And how does it look? Does it even look like Chef Boyardee sauce? Parents, grandparents, help us out here. What do you think? Oh, this is just getting all cheesy and gooey, and it's getting rich. You can see the color change because the orangish, yellowish from the cheese is just saying, ah. Over here, I've got my meatballs, and they're ready to go. I'm gonna shut this off, give it a little shake, drop our meatballs. Uh-oh, run away, get in there. Thank goodness everything is clean. There we go. And we want to coat these meatballs. A little bit of that sauce and the beef is gonna ooze out into the sauce and make this absolutely yummy. Okay. Let's turn over my meatballs so they get a nice brown color. Are you guys as hungry as I am? I am. Now, what are we gonna do? We're just gonna stir. And you see, as I stir, it's gonna coat those meatballs. Did you like that Asian method I showed you, where all the meatballs are about the same size? That's what we want. Little mountains peeking through this delicious sauce. And I will be right back with you. I'm gonna go get ready for our dessert, something sweet. How about, since we like New York City in the 1920s, why don't we go with some caramelized oranges over a New York cheesecake? How does that sound? We will be right back. Hello, welcome back. Now let's do a wonderful dessert, huh? We're gonna do caramelized oranges and we're gonna drown it all over a beautiful cheesecake. Number one, let me show you the orange. Now my wife said, how come I'm not measuring while I'm doing this program? I'm not measuring because a lot of our ingredients are pre-measured and we wanna make sure you get the recipes. If you look down below, we're gonna have a link for you to grab these wonderful 1920 recipes. But I do have here some measuring cups and measuring spoons, and we tell people to measure until they are done with college, like master's degree, because if you don't measure properly, you can ruin your recipe. Now, we're gonna do something, and I hope you have an adult with you in the kitchen. We have oranges. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut the top, revealing the flesh. I'm gonna turn it, and then I'm gonna cut the bottom. Now, this is gonna make a nice little natural orange juice for me. I'm gonna need that. And then what we do in the chef's world a lot of times is this, and it's a pretty safe method of cutting. With our knife, we are going to not cut with this edge or this edge, but we're going to use the middle that we can actually control. If I look at the orange, I can actually cut down. My hand is out of the way, and I can kind of cut and curve. I can follow along, cut and curve my knife. So I'm sort of going like this. Why don't you try and see how it feels for you? While you're doing that, I'm going to gently take my time and I'm going to reveal this beautiful, delicious orange. It is loaded with juices. I'm spraying everywhere. I bet I could spray your house from here. How about that? And then the last cut, just take your time, and then you've got yourself a wonderful segmented orange with all that pith. If you miss a few spots, no problem. Just go back and tidy it up. This is all gonna go in the trash. And then turn it down 90 degrees and cut. And I'm using my fingers to hold it. And I'm just gonna cut. And you should get about 3 slices. If you think this is dangerous, it's not. I'm cutting straight up and straight down. I'm not doing a Wolverine sideways. No, I'm cutting straight up and down. And then I've got myself 4 beautiful segments. I can cut them in half, turn them, cut them in half again, lay them on my platter. There we go. Got that, I've got that. I'm going to be using this on top of cheesecake. All right. Now over here we have a hot pan. And what we're going to do is we're going to measure in. Why not measure? There is about a 1/4 cup. That's not enough. We're making caramel. And a lot of parents don't do caramel with their kids. That's a 1/2 cup. Let's do 3/4 of a cup. And let's do a whole cup. I need to get a little extra in there. Okay, we got our sugar. Our sugar is in there. Our sugar is going to need a little help. The reason parents don't do this is because either they've forgotten caramel from scratch, or they just don't do this at home. Kids get caramel out and it's wonderful. Now I'm going to stir this in only once, and I'm going to let that water coat it, and then I'm going to leave it absolutely alone. Now sugar's got this weird thing. There's a whole science to working with sugar. So the science is basically this. If I made this caramel like so, what happens is it'll go back to a crystal form. See, the sugar is a crystal? That's what we have right here. What I'm going to do is use a different kind of sugar. I'm going to use a corn syrup, about a teaspoon to a tablespoon. It's not going to ruin the recipe at all. And this is the only time I'm going to stir it in. I got to get it hot so it melts off my spoon. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Now, we're ready for the flavorings, but isn't that neat? What happened to all my sugar crystals? Well, they all disappeared. They melted. That's perfect because we're going to put in some cinnamon sticks. Why not? You got old-fashioned sticks of cinnamon? Drop them in. Why I'm here, I've got this beautiful star anise. This is a oriental spice. Spices are seeds, and leaves are herbs generally, but this is a bark, but it's considered a spice. I'm going to put in some star anise, and that's going to give this a licorice kind of flavor. Not too much, just enough to say hello. And then we only have 2 ingredients to mess with next, but we're not ready. I got to let this cook. And I'm trying not to stir it, but I am on a cooktop where I can't move things around. But what I'm looking for is I want a beautiful amber color. And this is so hot that this is going to cook the spices, and the spices are going to release their flavors in here. And when I'm ready to stop this from getting amber to red to dark brown to burnt, I'm going to stop it before it burns. And then I'm going to add liquid. I have here some orange juice, about 3 tablespoons, and we have some butter. It's very important when you do this to get that color just the way you want it so that everybody's happy. Now I'm looking here, and on this cooktop, I see that there's a hot spot right here in the center. That's okay. It's bubbling, that's fine, because ultimately the bubbles are going to change probably every 2 or 3 minutes. Right now I got little bubbles going blip, 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 blip. And then I'm going to start seeing a color around the ring, and that's going to be good. That's going to help. I'm going to try moving this very gently just to see if it moves the hot spots somewhere else. I thought I was on the power burner. Okay. The bubbles are going. We have our cinnamon, our star anise, and we got everything ready. Oh, did I show you the New York cheesecake? We got it right here. That's going to be my serving platter. I'm going to have that ready for you. And I've got a spoon to pick up that beautiful caramel once it's all done. You see, the bubbles aren't so big anymore. They're getting smaller and smaller. That's good. You also want to make sure you keep kids away from this, parents. Ooh, this can really be scary. Only in terms of, we don't want to stick our face in here because if it pops, it's hot, liquid. It's very hot because it's syrup and it's thick. Now the bubbles are changing and I am, wow, that movement helped. I'm getting a central area now. I don't want to stir this because if I stir this, instead of caramel, I'm going to end up with something stringy like toffee. That's not what I want. I'm actually going to make a sauce with this. And you can see these are simple ingredients: sugar, water, corn syrup, and those are the kinds of things they had in the 1920s. Of course, they didn't have ground cinnamon. They probably had cinnamon sticks, which were easier to work with. The star anise is a little more modern approach. I'll be right back with you when this begins to caramelize in about 3 to 5 minutes. Welcome back. As I said, you're going to get this beautiful amber color, and you can see it right there in the center. You can see a beautiful color starting to form around the outside. That's what I want. And then I'm going to take this orange juice. It's just in a fancy container. I'm going to put it right there in the middle. Move it around. And you can see I get that beautiful color of the caramel. At this point, I'm going to turn this completely off. Definitely. Now I can stir and get that flavor everywhere. And there's just one little thing we got to do next. See how I'm holding my spoon? I do not want this to slip and slide on anybody or near anybody, just in case. Now this is nice and hot and bubbly, almost bubbly, might need another minute or two. The pan will keep cooking this. And what I'm going to do now is just put in some nice butter, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. Let's stir, stir, stir. And once a little bit melts, well, I can put in some more. There we go. That's why it's a caramel sauce. You want to turn off the heat before you put in the butter, because if the butter melts too fast and gets hot too quickly, it will kind of separate from the sugar syrup that we just made. And look at that, it's starting to thicken up. I think we need one more, because desserts taste better with butter, don't they? That's what the French chefs and the German chefs tell me. Now, look at that. The trick is we can remove the star anise and the cinnamon in just a minute once this melts. I just want to make sure this gets all delicious. Okay, I'm going to move these out, and I'm going to just take them out of the way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I got a double there. And the last one. There we go. Okay, now I can swirl. That's also a kitchen skill, being able to swirl. Can you swirl and pour smoothly? I hope you can. If not, practice. Almost done. 10 seconds. 9, 8. I want to get that piece of butter melted. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now this is done when you can put it into a spoon, drip it off, and you see it's glazed. Isn't that beautiful? I love this glaze. Now let us take our beautiful orange slices. Let's pour all this over. Ooh, I know. Isn't cooking a shame? No, it's not. It's great. and then just let that sit for a minute. Come here, you beautiful cheesecake, and let's drown you. Oh, that looks nice. Then we're gonna do some over here. Let it fall. It's fine if it falls. It's gonna be beautiful. How about some everywhere? Now you're saying, oh, you're making a mess. Yes, I am. And that is where I come across. And I have a towel here that's wet, and I'm just gonna fix up my mess. Kind of clean it up for you, because we eat with our eyes first. Here's our delicious cheesecake ready to serve, and we will be right back in just a minute to review the recipes we just did. Okay, well, today we have made a wonderful meal, Roaring 20s in Chefsville. We have here a start of Caesar salad with crusty cheese crouton. We have a fondant potatoes. We have the beautiful meatballs with the Chef Boyardee sauce. And for sweet tooths, we have this wonderful New York style cheesecake, drowned in that beautiful caramel and orange sauce for you. So remember, please, that cooking is not just about recipes, it's about creativity and connection. Whether you're a kid or an adult, there's always a place for you at our table. Thank you so much for being with us. Keep your hands clean until next time, and your hearts filled with joy, and your kitchen filled with fun. Happy cooking. We'll see you next time at Chefsville.